You're listening to the G Spot. The G is for geek. Only on Project Nerd.
Whoa! This is a little different than what we normally do.
Yeah, now we're live.
People gotta see our fucking faces.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Guys.
everyone.
We're super not live either. This is definitely a recording, but
Well, we're
live. We're here. So what's up? If you don't know what I look like, now you know what I do. Sarah Cos Mama here.
This is Dee.
I got
this is
Carl.
how I look every day.
Carl! Awesome.
Your mom's dead.
All right. Oh, that poor I feel like when you're a child actor, you're like you're like Ron Howard, where you like, or like you, it's like you end up like having this like amazing career and like opportunities, or you end up like poor Coral, who's like, I feel like
he's gonna show and forgotten about.
He's gonna have to like wait till he's like 30. Like it's like what's his face from like remember he was like in M. Night Shyamalan, who was the kid from The Sixth Sense? Haley Joel. He's back now, and now he's like Haley Joel like makes fun of himself. Like he's got a good, but like that's how you got to do it. You got to. There's no way. Like I feel like Coral's kind of. That's not even his real name. I just call him Coral because it makes me laugh. Coral. All right. Yeah. Awesome. What are we talking about today?
Today, don't mind the bright lights on me. It's just the mood lighting. We're talking about Halloween and the origins thereof, and also a little bit of some modern day urban legends.
Yeah, this is exciting. I really like it. All right.
History and a little herstory.
All right, well, her story. All right, let's just go right. Let's get right into it. We got some good points here. We got a little bit of history, got a little urban legends. We want to talk about like do we just want to get right into the Jacko Lantern, the most popular of them all?
Let's do it. Let's dive right into that little Jacko Lantern.
Do you want to go? I was reading about it. I mean, this is a pretty common one. We all know. I didn't know that there was a story behind. I didn't know there was an urban legend though that with Jack-o'-lanterns. I thought it was just to ward off spirits. I learned something new today.
All right. Well, why don't you tell us about that, Sarah?
Do you already know this? Of course you do, because you're like, I'm like horror.
I may have forgotten it. So.
Well, like I'm like horror, like movie monster Halloween, and you're like pagan folklore out to the wind, like yeah.
You like some bonfires and scare off some evil spirits.
But I mean, I'm always down to dance naked in the woods and scare off spirits. So, no, what is it? So I don't know if this is an American urban legend, but there was a man named Stingy Jack. Do you know this?
That sounds like a very Irish urban legend.
All right.
Stingy Jack.
Well, you know what? There's a story of a man named Stingy Jack who repeatedly trapped the devil and only let him go on the condition that Jack would never go to hell.
Okay.
All right. But then I guess he died.
Classic Stingy Jack.
Classic. Oh, Stingy Jack. Here's potatoes and whiskey. Somebody in Ireland's like, shut the fuck up.
Sorry, everyone in Ireland.
Maybe top of the morning to you, my Lucky Charms. So, but then when he died, heaven didn't want him either. So he had nowhere to go because he couldn't go to hell and he couldn't go to heaven. So I guess he like lived in this sad purgatory where he just like wandered the earth as a ghost, and it was like worse than ever. So then, basically the devil felt bad for him and gave him a lump of burning coal, and it was carved into a turnip. So he would carry it as a light as he like wandered the earth.
The coal was carved into a turnip?
The lump of burning coal in carved out turnip. So I guess it was like, so the turnip
was
the lamp
inside of a turnip.
Yeah, it's basically a jack-o'-lantern, but it was like it's like the devil, so it's like eternal coal that like never dies. And so he has this turnip, and so that's what people saw wandering, going, who will take my? So then that's why we had carved turnips, and I'll let you take that one. And be like, I got some pictures. You want to talk about this Irish shit?
Yeah.
So the turnips.
So, because pumpkins are native to Mexico, which is why we have jack-o'-lanterns now, which look way cooler than fucking turnips, the Irish / everyone over in the British Isles would carve turnips instead of pumpkins, obviously. So this is a terrifying image I feel like this is an old
I'm copying
turnip.
it. Do I look like it?
There it is.
That should
No
be the cover
lips.
for this one.
So the
Awful.
turnip, because they're abundant there, and you're not going to waste your cash crop, the potato, on some nonsense carving. Oh, that guy. That looks like jigsaw.
Yes. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
You need like a really pointy chin.
We
Yeah.
can't do it. Yeah. Keep going.
So they
Sorry.
would carve turnips and set those out so that they could light the way for people who came by. And back in the day, you would just give people like food. You didn't hand out candy necessarily, or like baked goods, or like something like a treat, but it wouldn't be like candy like it is today.
I was reading too that they're in America, because trick or treating was actually more of a southern, because of it's funny because we think Halloween, we think like New England and Maine and spooky, but
Salem.
actually Salem, but I guess actually a lot of trick or treating actually started off in America in the South, because the Puritans in the North were like, that's the devil. So like a lot of our traditions actually have a lot of French, African. There's a bunch of other influences in it, and like that like pagan, Salem Halloween we know now was actually like not okay. Like it's not how we like we're celebrating something that never actually was like fun. It was just like they're famous for the murders, I guess. They're fun. And they were saying how I guess people would also ask for money when they go trick or treating.
Yeah.
And I guess Halloween was the time of the year when a young lady could do tricks with yarn and sewing to find out the name of her future husband, because even back then it was about getting married.
Yeah, and there was
Mhm.
something about the veil between like the living world and having ghosts. Who was it? The Romans were like afraid of the Celts because they're like they can tell the future around Halloween because all the spirits that come back. And so yeah, if you're feeling
just like Christmas,
fun,
yeah, just like Christmas, Halloween's another pagan thing that we adopted. It's an older. I feel like, I mean, Christmas is pretty old too, but I think because Hollow Mass, right? That's what we used to call it. I feel like Halloween is really, I think it's really, I think Halloween now is a lot more popular than it used to be. Like, like remember, like I just feel like now, like it's like okay for adults to be super into it, and it wasn't like that before. And
yeah,
like it's one of like the oldest. It's right up there with Easter. Like you think about Easter and Christmas, like we get like vacations for those holidays,
no,
and like Halloween is like right up there with them. Like it's fucking
yeah,
old. Like it's
super
amazing.
old, yeah.
Yeah, and Halloween actually has a lot more connections to other cultures. Like it's one of the few holidays that like I think besides Christmas, like Halloween is celebrated. Like when I went to Iceland this last time, people were like, "Oh yeah, we celebrate Halloween here." Like they have their own version. It's like also too, it's like it's something that everybody in the world does. You don't have to be like necessarily like Christian to
Yeah, but
celebrate,
I feel like it was exported from the United States
This
because
new
we
version.
are the trendsetters, and
This
so
It is like
yeah.
the new Hollow, because what is it like? Yeah, we have that. Like my mom was telling me when they were in England, it was Guy Fawkes Day was bigger,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
because it's right after the Day of the Dead too. November, remember.
yeah.
Um, wait, one more time. I'm sorry, one more time. Cool. Anyway, so that's cool. What else?
Yeah.
What else? What's an urban legend?
All right, so let's.
A little
I
history.
wrote them down on paper, people. The
Mhm.
people, persons, paper, people. Okay, so the first urban legend that I'm going to cover is Cropsy. Okay,
Ooh.
and I don't know if anyone has heard of this, but
I
there
have
is like
never
a
have.
little documentary on, I think it's Amazon Prime. You can watch it free with commercials. I haven't, sorry. But Cropsy was like an urban legend in like the 70s. And
Okay.
kids on Staten Island would talk about like a boogeyman living in the woods who would disembowel kids. And so
Oh shit. What?
come to 1987, and a man named Andre Rand is put
Okay.
on trial.
Is
And
this
we
him?
have a picture of him.
Is that him?
I sure hope so, because I've never seen him talk before.
I think it's him. This guy popped. This is Cropsy. Yeah.
All right,
Look
so
at
this
him.
man is the origin of Cropsy.
All right.
And he was convicted of abducting children. And
Well, there's a
because there
proven?
was a string of disappearance. Yeah, he was convicted of it. There was a string of missing children in the 70s when like the urban legend was, ramping up.
So kids were
And
actually disappearing.
kids were actually disappearing, and this man was convicted of it. And so
Mhm.
he is the origin of this urban legend. Just like pretty much every urban legend, there's some white guy behind it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, that's true. Damn. That's crazy. All right. Well, we
yeah.
kind of talked about trick or treating. We can talk about
Yeah.
costumes.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
where we shine. So, the costumes, the kind of the same thing we talked like. We all kind of know this. If anybody's watched Halloween Town or Casper or anything, we all know
Yeah.
the one of the original ideas is that because the spirits are walking the earth, if we dress up like them, then they
Mhm.
won't know. And then Hollow Mass, which is when the church tried to go ahead and convert, the Romans. Like basically, we took all these traditions and the Romans, and they were
Mhm.
like, "We're going to make it our own thing." They that one they dressed up as angels, spirits, and devils, and that was like your options. And it was basically like that veil that you were talking about, and like kind of
Mhm.
celebrating the past and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's where those costumes kind of started. And then somewhere along the line, we got to this shit show.
Oh, yeah.
What is this? What am I looking at?
It's like they took the death mask off of like a relative, and like, they made a paper mache mask of a dead person, and then they just used that as their Halloween mask.
Yeah. Is that what it
Because
is?
no, but this is like frightening. Like the one on the far right, the little white face with like the rosy cheeks,
Yeah.
that one is probably the most terrifying one. The middle one just looks
That's
like, like a sloth from the Goonies kind of guy.
I think I do you remember like back in the day in the 80s and like this is like before our time, but these would be something like our parents would have worn. Like the costumes were like just like a logo you wore. It was like the mask was in a box and then you put the mask on your face and then you pulled out like a logo. So if like you were a Ninja Turtle, you wore a
Mhm.
Ninja Turtle mask and then there was just a square picture of Ninja Turtles on this green shirt that you just had. And
That's
that was
weird.
it
I've never
was
seen that.
and it was so I have to pull it up. I'm gonna have to pull it up. I'll have to find it at one point. But it's like really sad. Like it just like and I remember like
Yeah.
and it was just one of those moments where I was like looking at it and I was like, wow, costumes really did not get good until like that's recently.
No.
Or you had to make your own.
Well,
Like
maybe it was like
yeah, these
costumes were
ladies
good.
here.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
legit. We got Angelina Jolie coked out on meth, third
Which
one
one is
from the
that one? Which one's
left.
Angie? On the far
Okay.
left?
Far left, you got the nice looking lady, the regular lady. Then you got coked out
Oh,
Angelina Jolie.
I just
Yeah.
saw her. The third from the left.
Yes.
She's a real witch. That one,
Yeah.
she infiltrated. I like the one on the far right. She looks like
Yeah, she's real
those are
cute.
like classy ladies. They're living their best. They're living their
Yeah.
best
And
life.
that's
I
like
love that.
that looked like a Edwardian era. So that's like turn
Yeah.
of the century.
Mm-hmm.
You got some class, ladies.
All right. I'm trying to find these pictures. I'm gonna find them.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. Um,
No.
I actually just like I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I feel like I have all of these uh uh, like fun things about Halloween. And like you were talking about the candy thing, I just listened to I'm actually going to talk about it twice. But My Hair Murder just did an episode on the Brox woman, the Brox candy. Do you listen to that podcast, MFM?
No, but I
Really good.
probably should. Yeah.
It's really good. So Brox is the famous company that has like candy corn and the
Yeah.
pumpkins and
Yeah.
all that shit. They kind of
Mhm.
like revolutionized candy and stuff. Anyway, their heiress was ended up being really sad. She ended up being murdered and taking all this stuff
Classic.
right. But like so like there's like even like Halloween candy people. It's got Halloween spookiness. So like things,
Mhm.
but they actually Brock's candy revolutionized trick or treating. And that's how they made a lot of their money. And apparently, what is it like almost like 50% of candy sales in America is done in the month of October.
I mean, yeah,
Like a
I believe
ridiculous
it.
amount, like out of total,
Yeah.
like 1 month out of 12 months carries more than half of the sales. And Brock's Candy was the first candy ever in America, like you could buy to package individual pieces. So back in the
Ooh.
day when you were trick or treating, you got like
Just
loose candy.
loose butterscotches
You're
from
like, here
some
you
old man's
go.
pocket.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
nothing was wrapped individually. And so
Mhm.
they were the first ones to like do that. And it like changed the trick or treating game and it like made them like bazillionaires.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And they
Yeah.
still make the shittiest candy I've ever eaten. So.
You leave Brock's alone. They have a lot of candy people don't realize.
Never.
Like their caramels and stuff. Like everybody just knows them for candy corn and like
Well,
candy
no, like
hearts.
whenever I see Brock's on a bag, I'm like, I'm gonna avoid
I
that.
love
No,
give me all the chalk.
no.
I love
Yeah,
my chalky
like
candy.
yeah, they got that, and then they just got like caramels, and I'm like, I want like chocolate, okay? I'll get like the mixed bag with
Chocolate. I
like,
do, but you
I
gotta have a mixture.
swear to God, I had a dream the other night. It's just coming to me. I'm
All right,
sorry.
I'm ready.
Where I was somewhere for Halloween, and I was able to pick out like a giant like double king size bar of like any candy bar I wanted, and
Really?
they effing had the Heath bars, and those are my favorite. And I was
I
like,
do like Heath
yeah.
bars. Problem with Heath bars though is sometimes like they will like you'll like bite down and you're like like the that
They're
fucking
hard
like
as a rock.
that shit can like they're so good. You're like
Yeah, that's why I got an electric toothbrush, because you gotta like scrub the crap out of your teeth after you eat those.
yeah. That shit that one gets like
It's legit.
racked into your it's awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um I need to find this before we get into it because I just like I'm thinking of something else. But yeah, it's there was the other one that I forget what the other candy was that like changed like trick or treating too, and I can't remember. But and then we got into the rumors of putting drugs in candy.
Razor blades and
Razor
candy and
blades.
stuff.
That
Yeah.
is okay. So this is so funny. I'm just realizing I know this. I actually know the urban legend of that origin, and I'm just coming
Yeah.
to me right now. It's coming back to me because I listen to
Oh.
podcasts. It was another like I said. I'm going to talk about MFM a lot because they cover a lot of this stuff.
Mhm.
This is a true story. A guy was trick or treating with his. It was two dads and their kids, and they go and they knock on a door, and they're not home. So the kids go ahead, and the dad like, I gotta tie my shoe or whatever. And then he shows up and he has like those giant pixie sticks. You remember those?
Mhm.
And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that person ended up being home, and they gave me these." So he gives them to the kids, and then that night, one of the kids eats it and just starts convulsing and having a seizure. And essentially, basically, long story short, that candy didn't come from the house. The candy came from the dad, and he was in debt and decided to kill off his children because they had life
Classic.
insurance.
Mhm.
And the neighbor's kid, I think, survived. Like he gave him to his friend's kid too, just to make it look like random. But
Yeah.
before they figured out it was obviously the dad who did it, they blamed this house, and so that's where
Yeah.
the scare, and that's when everything changed, where everything needs to be individually wrapped. You got to check your kid. That
Okay.
like mass hysteria. Nobody has ever hidden anything in candy before. It was a parent
Yeah.
lying, trying to kill their
I
kid.
feel like I've heard that. Now that you tell me it, I'm like, okay, that sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
Like I feel
So
like I've heard that before.
yeah. So that's the urban legend behind that.
Mhm.
Let's talk about fake cops.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we've all heard the urban legend of, someone's getting pulled over, and, the cop comes up to him, and they're kind of like in the shadows. You don't see them. Their uniform is kind of like iffy. They don't show you a badge. And they're
Mhm.
like, all right, I need you to step out of the car and, come to the back of the car and, do whatever. And it turns out it's a serial killer, or the
Mhm.
person gets murdered and thrown in the trunk and they're not found for 7 days. There's a lot of iterations, but this one can be based on our old pal Ted Bundy, who did
Yeah.
indeed pose as a fake cop to at least one of his victims. I'm sure it was
Didn't
more
I
than
think
that.
what is it? The Hollywood Hills killings. Those two brothers, they were security guards too. They're another ones that
Oh,
did that. It's a really common tactic
yeah.
by
I
serial
mean, that's
killers.
why it's got such a like a severe punishment because you can just tell someone, "Oh, hey, your
Yeah.
car was broken into. You need to come with me." And then they take you
Hmm.
to your car and then hit you over the head with a crowbar and
Yeah. It's pretty bad. Yeah.
yeah. So that was what old Theodore Bundy did. Um,
Yeah.
he did hit some women over the head with a crowbar and then rape their corpses. So
Hmm. That's ugh, 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 that's awful. Yeah. Um. What was the other one we were talking about? The other, oh, Candyman.
yes.
I had a hard
So
time. I think I found a good picture of him though. Hold on.
yeah. I mean, there's the new
Is
one.
that
There he is. Look at that son of a bitch and his
I'll come to your
homunculus
hero.
freaking gopher in the
That's
background.
the that's the Candyman you were talking about, right?
That's exactly. He would take those candy canes and just skewer people and then leave them in his front yard like Vlad the
Mhm.
Impaler.
I actually
Yeah,
know the true story behind this one too, but I'll let you do
it's
it.
real blood in those candy canes. So I'm sure everyone has heard of it because
The movie just came
Jordan
out.
Peele, yes, just
Hmm.
came out with a new movie, a remake of the original, obviously,
Uh,
Candyman. So the article I found was a little weird because it said um, the Candyman. Okay, so it's based on the Clive Barker short story, and that was based on an actual murder
Hmm.
in the year of 1890 of a black artist, Tony Todd, who was dating a white woman. And so he was killed out of revenge. But
Are you
that
sure?
doesn't explain. Well,
That's not that's not the origin of the Candyman story.
I'm pretty sure it's not. But it
Okay. Because
but that's what they said, and then they were
the real
like,
one is a famous murder where the guy actually comes out of the mirror. That's a,
yes. And so the next thing that it said was that a woman in 1897 or 1887, her apartment was broken into. She called 911
mhm.
and she's like, I'm being attacked. And they had come in, they busted through a wall in an adjoining apartment, and then they crawled through her medicine cabinet. And that's how they got into her apartment, and then they shot her to death.
Yeah. Well, okay, so yeah, and this one was in 19. It was not like super it was in the 1980s. It was a newer thing. Not
Well,
the
this one was
18.
old as hell. It was like 1890s. This shit
So
was going
there's
on.
and of course now this is another I can't find your name, but this is a real story because the guy who read the
Mhm.
news article about this girl's death ended up writing the short story as well, or
Clive Barker?
wrote the film, not the short.
Okay,
Like it's all connected, but he got inspired by this last one, and it's the reason why
okay.
in the film the Candyman's black. Because
Mhm,
in this one in the 80s or 90s, and you can actually hear the police recording. So way back this, so you ever seen, like we talked about this, when old apartments, how sometimes if the medicine cabinet doesn't completely touch the wall, you can see into the
mhm.
other apartment across from you. So these buildings are built like that, where basically there's secret tunnels in every single apartment complex, and it's mostly there for maintenance guys. Like there's a problem, like if you have this giant building, you can't bust a hole through a wall every time. So there's tunnels built in, so maintenance people can repair stuff, especially in giant like skyscraper ones. So I think this is Chicago.
Yeah, well, that's where this woman was murdered. It was in the Chicago Tribune article.
Yeah, that's not the olden
And
days. This is like modern. This is like the
well, this one
1900s.
said 1890.
It's probably 1990 because this is like a real thing. She called the police like on the phone
Mhm,
because she was
mhm,
in a
mhm,
projects because she was poor and she was in the project and
mhm.
they moved her into this. Basically, there's this story of these they're called, I forget what these buildings are called, but they're basically a death sentence where they're public housing, but they got rid of like streets to make everything like condensed. So like if you call the cops, they wouldn't be able to find you because there's no streets.
How the fuck
Everything
do
is
you get rid of streets?
it's like they made it like a special thing. It's just all these poor people stacked on top of each other, and it's
Mhm.
like there's like the hallways have no windows, so it's just like
Classic.
dark. And they were saying how
Mhm.
like you would just walk in the dark because anytime you replaced a light bulb, someone would steal it because they needed it for their house. So you
Mhm.
just lived in dark. You lived in your dirt corner, and there was these window glasses. And this woman ends up, she's basically a mentally ill woman trying her best. She finally, after like years like of hardship, she starts to build a relationship with her daughter. She finally starts showing up to like the learning annex and getting her life together. She gets on her meds, and then she escapes like beated boyfriends that beat her, like all this shit. And she even like and then finally her benefits go through and she finally has enough money to move out. So she basically all she does is buy herself a nice coat for the winter and doesn't spend anything else. But people notice that she's living better and she looks better. So they break in through her window and kill her. But she calls the police. And because she had like schizophrenia and all that stuff, and she's just did like they didn't understand her and they couldn't find her. And it took them like 3 more days to like open up. Like they had to end up having to like break down her door because they kept knocking. She didn't answer. Her body just sat there. And so that was that article. The writer of the film saw that and wrote Candyman based off of that. And there's a comment about and it's mixed because some people love it and some people don't, because Candyman's origin is about this black, man who's a boogeyman who kills people. But there's one of the criticisms is that it's capitalizing on a story of the cycle that keeps people of color, black people, like basically like trapped in, like it's like this sad story of a woman like being kept in the system by white people. And then they're like, but now we're making it the boogeyman. Like it's like, so like some people have like issues with it's like another white man capitalizing on a black woman.
Yeah.
So but then I know I have friends that are that are black that are like, I have black friends now, but they and basically they'll just say things like, "I love it. I like watching all these white people get murdered. It makes me feel cool." So everybody's different. Like I'm not here to pass judgment, but that one's got like something that's a newer one because the people there's. Do you guys hear my dog go?
Yes.
Yeah. Ah! It's the Candyman. He's coming for me. But do we
You
know
said his name 3 times.
What's the urban legend? Yeah, isn't that Bloody Mary? What is the difference?
I don't know. I feel like maybe Bloody Mary. Oh, she was like, God, was she Mary Queen of Scots or something? I didn't look into that one.
Because
I feel like it's gotta be.
Isn't it the same thing? You look in a mirror and you say their name?
Yes, it is.
Which
And
is like
then you turn on
so
the light.
witchy.
Yeah, but I
It's
feel
all
like
magic, yeah.
one of them might have co-opted from the other one, or maybe they were just like, oh, you look in the mirror and then you see her, but she's supposed to be like, she appears like behind you or like with you, and then the Candyman like comes out of the mirror. So I mean it's potato, but
potato.
yeah. So I'm not.
Could you imagine this fucker coming out? Ah!
Oh my god, that would be more terrifying.
I'd be more scared about that gopher.
Yes, with the giant teeth just for shredding through bones.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Classic.
That's some fun spooky things. Everything's so spoopy.
I love it.
Good. What are you going to be for Halloween this year?
That's a good question. I have yet to decide. I have so many things that I could choose from, and I don't know. I want to be freaking. I've forgotten her name, and you're gonna hate me that I've forgotten her name. Morticia.
Okay.
I was just like, I kept thinking Elvira.
You forget Morticia.
And I was just Elvira. Like, Elvira.
We're gonna take a minute and talk about Elvira. My queen. Oh, my queen. She's just Elvira. Oh my god. I am so happy that I think she's bi or pan. I forget what, because she had a husband. She had a good marriage. But then she like ended up falling in love with that. Oh my god.
If you can't make out what Sarah's trying to tell us, it's that Elvira, the actress who played Elvira, has come out as pansexual, bisexual.
Yeah. I don't know if I just know she talked about it. She's got a female partner and she's had a secret girlfriend for 19 years. Isn't that wild?
A long time to have a secret girlfriend.
What was it? There's that meme where it's like, I'm happy for Elvira, but we need to take a minute to high five her girlfriend, because how do you not start every conversation with Elvira's my girlfriend for 19 years? Oh yeah, I'm fucking Elvira, so I win.
My girlfriend's Elvira, bitch.
Oh god, and she's still. I got to see her at Knott's Berry Farm because she used to have a show there during Halloween Haunt, like way back in the day. and she came back for like one of the anniversaries, and I got to see her there, and she's still like it's like really impressive that she's still she's still kicking.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be. I can't decide if I'm gonna be a witch this year, or I think I might want to make a Naja cosplay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. You'd
I
make a
love.
good Nadia.
I was on a Naja.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you already pretty much have the bangs and like the hair. You just
I
need
am
like
Naja.
the black. Yeah. And
Yeah. No,
she's
I think
super
we
cute.
could.
I love her.
She's the best. I
Yeah.
love her so much. Um. Awesome.
Her.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
We need to talk about this one more time. I can't. Ah! All right.
Okay, people, I want you to imagine these things on
Oh.
everyone's front porch instead of those nice, beautiful pumpkins. Just these little devil faces.
I can't. This one is
Well, I feel like this one has been left out in the
jigsaw.
elements for like a month. And
How
it's
big
just
are
shriveled
how
up.
big are
Turnips are not
turnips?
big.
That's the one
Turnips
thing
are
I'm
not
looking at
big.
this. I'm also impressed. Like turnips are only like
Yeah. You know, yeah.
not the size of my face.
No,
How
they're
big are
not
they? Like your
huge.
fist?
Yeah, I feel like they're like beet
Mm.
radish sized, bigger than a carrot, a little more bulbous, but still not huge. Not
I
like
just
pumpkin bigger than your head
and I
size.
think because I only know radishes. I think I know what a turnip
Yeah,
is,
and
but I think
radishes
I'm
are
thinking of a
tiny.
radish. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well.
radishes are like teeny. Well, they can
Mhm.
be. Then you can get like the big radishes, the
Yeah.
daikons. But yeah, you're gonna yeah, no, they're
Well,
not
that's
huge.
good.
They're no
This is
pumpkin.
it's a fun little thing on Halloween. It's a fun little episode there. Halloween. And now we're gonna go ahead and get into our 2 hour acapella rock opera of Halloween. La la
Yes.
la la.
What's this? What's
What's this?
this?
All right, I'm done. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No. I just want to talk about
No.
Halloween for the rest of
You
the
guys, I
year.
love Halloween.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to see like people around my neighborhood. It's like blowing up now. There's so many more
I
decorations.
love it.
There's whole streets that have coordinated to put like pumpkin displays along the entire sidewalk and like
Yeah, and
ghosts
you're
along.
like in the Midwest. So you're getting that like
Yes.
nice fall leaves,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're getting a Halloween town Halloween.
Yeah, I've had a tree out front across the street that has been like turning red since early September, and I'm like,
So
all right, you
pretty.
got the vibes. It's getting cool. It was hot today, which I didn't like.
Yeah, it's getting that cool. I think fall is the best because like it's
Mhm.
not winter yet, but like it's not that burning summer. You're just like
Yeah,
you could just go out and lay on the grass.
yeah, it's
It's
not. Yeah,
so
you're not gonna just
nice.
start sweating the second you step out of the door. It's
Mhm.
just like it's chill. It's cool.
It's so
Yeah,
nice. It's really good. All right. Well,
yeah,
like, I hope. I mean, I would love to see everybody's Halloween costumes. So if you feel so inclined, you got something funny, no dick pics, share them on the Facebook. I'd love to
yes,
see them. I love Halloween.
yeah.
But
Let's see
yeah,
those costumes, people.
I
I
want to see
want to see them.
costumes. I don't care
Yeah.
if you're like
If you
slutty
throw a
this
sheet
or
over
slutty
your head and you
that.
got 2 eye holes cut out, I wanna see it.
That's good. I've always wanted to do the Charlie Brown ghost one year, but I feel like the joke wouldn't like,
With a
just, like,
bunch of
all the
holes in
holes.
it.
Yeah, like, just but, unless you've seen that, you're like, "Great costume."
Yeah. Well, I feel it's a little iconic, so maybe,
Maybe.
older
Or
people
the
would
Great
get it.
Pumpkin. Yeah, exactly. No, it'll be good.
Yeah. Maybe someone
Alright.
will give you a rock and you'd be like, "Yes,
I got
thank
a
you."
rock. Be fu I think one year I wanted to do that and then just pass out rocks, but then I'd be like, "Kids would fucking hate me."
Yes. But also, like, candy with the rock.
Maybe, like, rock 'em. So, like, you were talking about the your king size Barbie thing, so when I do, like, I work haunted houses, obviously, but I'll make little ones for, like, yards or events and stuff, and kids always hate them. There's always, like, kids at these things, and they're like, "I'm not going in there." I always
Mhm.
get scared. So I'll have, like, regular candy out, but then I'll
Mhm.
go, "If you will go in the haunted house, I have king size candy bars in there. And then like that gets kids to go in. It's so funny watching them be like
Just
like
traumatized.
looking at you're like looking
I'll
at them
get a
like no
Snickers.
there's like I gotta get it. Like so it's really fun.
Yeah.
No, it was good. I had a Halloween party last night.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty good. Did my own
starting
makeup.
early. All right.
Well, yeah, I had it was like a housewarming party.
Okay.
Yeah, and like let's say I didn't upload it, but I'm wondering if I can even like just share it on my phone. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. If I put this up. Yeah, there we
Oh
go.
yeah. Oh
That
yeah. That's
was
real good.
there we go. Yeah, I did my makeup myself.
I
There you
love
go.
it.
Hold on, turning, focus. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Looks
That looks
looks
real
just like
good.
me.
Yeah.
Thanks. Looks just like me, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. We all different kinds of costumes, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
It's
We're
been
doing
a
great.
blast.
We're doing great. Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna be more regular now. We got a good thing. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have some fun
Yeah.
episodes coming up. We'll be good.
So
It'll be
stay
good.
tuned. Watch out. We'll be dropping these apps on the
All
reg.
right. Goodbye.